And good morning, everyone. It is October 2nd, 2011, and welcome to Fitness for the Body, Mind, and Soul, and this episode of Conscious Conversations. I'm Charlotte McGinnis, and I'm joined here today with a really wonderful guest, Lynn Odekirk, who's actually going to be sharing some very interesting concepts and ideas with us about our soul purpose, our soul awakening. And I'd like to just introduce her briefly by saying that when I was talking to Lynn about, well, what's your background and what do you do, the list is very, very long and wonderful. There's lots of great healing modalities that you're a teacher of, and I guess a facilitator as well. And those includes one of my favorites, which is craniosacral therapy, Rolfing. You've done, what else have you done, Lynn? You just tell me. Well, okay. I lost my thought there.
Continuum, the founder is Emily Conrad, and it is breath and sound and movement work. I studied for 7 years, taught it for 2 years. I am a Reiki master. I'm trained in polarity therapy, craniosacral therapy. I'm a certified advanced Rolfer. I was enlightened by a man by the name of Zhigang Shah in 2008. Fabulous, fabulous experience if you ever have the opportunity. But I keep studying like many of us do, and I have found that the simplest things work the best and are the easiest to teach and for people to remember. So I am very excited about sharing it with you.
There you go. Well, and one thing I like so much about what you're expressing is you've got a long list of modalities that you teach and offer, but you are always about that spiral and expansion and growth, and not just saying, okay, well, here it is for me, and I'm just going to stay in this little box, but it's continually opening yourself up. And I think that's a great message in itself, is really to encourage people to expand and maybe open their minds and hearts up to other possibilities.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, it's as far as craniosacral therapy goes, before we go into the soul work that you do, the craniosacral is one of the most powerful tools for healing I think I've ever experienced personally, as far as physical healing. And I know that there can be an emotional healing element to it. I've seen it and experienced it too. But just as far as the energy field and working within that, do you want to tell us just a little bit about craniosacral therapy?
It's subtle. I'm amazed that you are that. Everybody, it's amazing. It's very, very subtle work, and it's bringing balance to the body through mostly the sacrum and the cranium. So it's kind of a closed pump, sort of a half-closed pump, and when those fluids flow easily and effortlessly, everything else is affected by it.
And it's amazing. And, go ahead, I'm sorry, I wanted to bring in another element of that, but go ahead, please.
Well, we have spiritual bodies and emotional bodies and physical bodies and mental bodies. They are all affected by this. Very subtle, very, very gentle, and yet profound, profound results, yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, you said, the reason I know somewhat a good bit about it is in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, where I've lived for the past 30 years. That's where the Upledger Institute, and John Upledger founded that. Yes. And he does, actually at the Center Institute, they do a lot of work with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder patients, and have great results in that, because this subtle energy, it really is allowing these emotions to really come up and out for healing. Yes. And it's extremely powerful work, which I can see where that is a fit with everything that you are into as well, which gets me to the soul healing. When you say soul healing, first of all, what is the soul?
Big subject.
There you go.
Okay, when everybody has a soul, of course, we're all aware of that. But we also, every organ has a soul, every system has a soul, every bone, every muscle. If you get smaller, every strand of DNA and RNA has a soul. The spaces between those have a soul. All of the tiny matter inside of the cells has a soul. If you go the other way, mountains have souls, rocks have souls, trees have souls, every leaf, every cell of the soul, everything has a soul. Universes, galaxies, it gets very big, has souls. And we all have the ability to communicate with any soul for any kind of guidance.
So what is that? That's energy in your mind, or
I mean,
consciousness?
essence. The soul of something is the essence of it. And all souls carry a message. All souls.
And so when you do your soul work, how did you get into this? Because I know that's your big function and purpose right now in life. What you're helping people to sort of go back to that soul awareness at a deeper level, is that right?
Yes, the more you surrender and allow your soul to run your life, or listen to the guidance that your soul gives you, your life gets magical. It flows easily, evenly. If you are struggling, or you are blocked, or keep having the same kind of things come up over and over again, those are soul blockages. And even a blockage has a soul. So if I have a blockage and I communicate with that blockage, I love you, I honor you, I appreciate you. I know you want to serve. All souls want to serve. I know you want to transform to light. Guide me in doing that for you. It's much different than usually if something comes up we don't like, we resist it and push it away and fight it. And there's not much love in that. And I have found that love heals any blockage, melts all blockages.
Well, you mentioned love heals. I have to say, I know Ellen and anyone else in Florida with us down, not from today, but my Palm Beach Center for Living, which I had for 11 years, it was Palm Beach Center for Living Love Heals. And we had a big bus that was white bus, and it had Love Heals, all of our t-shirts, our hats, our coffee mugs, everything. There's that big Love Heals bus. What are those people about? And that's really the ultimate healer, isn't it? Yeah, love, and it's really tapping into that. And so you talked about soul blocks. What are those? What are some of how do they...
It can show up in anybody. It can be a physical ailment, it can be emotional issues, it can be mental, the way we keep looking at things, negative thoughts, that kind of thing. But what I'm going to show you today isn't a belief system. It's just a simple way of aligning and boosting the energy in these centers so that the energy flows easily and effortlessly.
And so, but back to the soul blocks, how do we develop those? Where do they come from?
Beliefs, attitudes from, like I said, our ministers, teachers, families, friends, society as a whole. We're taught at a very young age of what's right, what's wrong, what to believe, what not to believe. And so we are very focused on a three-dimensional world. We're looking for all of our answers out here. And truly, they're in our own heart. And when we start to look there in a way that opens our heart, the information will flow.
And you mentioned these programs and patterns and belief systems. I mean, as our conversation earlier, you mentioned, we're born with a sort of a pure soul. And we begin, the minute I think we enter into this three-dimensional world, to have the beliefs and programs of our parents and our relatives and our churches and our schools that are constant, and not to mention the media, that are being bombarded upon us. And, those are patterns of belief that have, gone through generations. Now, so we can literally, once these are healed, we can heal this for generations backwards, can't we?
Yes, absolutely. We carry karma. I imagine everybody knows what karma is, but we carry the karma of our parents and their parents and their parents, not siblings, but parents. Like I said, all souls want to serve, and as you serve, you can't help it, you serve. I mean, if you cook for your family, you're serving, and if you water your plants, you are serving, and all of life is service. But there's good service and there's not so good service. And not so good service would be killing or cheating or manipulating or controlling or, those kinds of things. And they create what's called bad karma. And so the more that, the good service is virtue. And the more we raise our virtue, the higher our frequency comes. The higher our frequency comes, the more expanded will be our ability to communicate with the soul world. Because there are layers in the soul world just like there are layers here. There's a rank and file to things, socially, economically, education, everything. There's a rank and file. In the soul world, there's also a rank and file to things. And it's all based on your soul standing according to your virtue, carried through all lives. So you can eliminate any bad karma that you have. You will feel your frequency come up. You will feel you're capable of things you never dreamed of before. You will see magic happen, and it will become everyday life. It's truly a treasure.
And when you mention about service, that's really our soul's calling, is to be of service and to understand that we all are interconnected.
Yes.
And that, really to be willing to move into a higher state of awareness and consciousness to say that, I'm willing to let go of my grievances and expectations and judgments, not only of myself, but of, politics and world conditions. And rather than that, let's say, okay, right now our world is appearing to be in a very challenged place.
Yes.
What's our function as spiritual beings? What's the greatest service we can offer to this?
Soul communication.
Yeah, okay. So how can we soul communicate with our people in Washington, for example?
I don't know, okay. This is the way that I would do it. Dear soul, mind, and body of our people in Washington, I love you. I honor you. I appreciate you. I know that you have the power to lead in a way that is best for all. Do a good job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very simple.
Mm-hmm. So you're coming from your heart, and rather than placing judgment and attacking, you're just offering that request from your heart.
And what you said earlier about us all being so connected is so important, because I don't have to write them a letter or call my senator or whatever, because we're all connected through the soul world. I can say this in my bedroom, and their soul will get it.
Mm-hmm.
Their soul will get it. And when you listen to the communication that comes from your own soul, the medium this travels on is divine light, divine love, divine forgiveness, and divine compassion. These aren't at all like human qualities of the same, very, 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 but much higher frequency. And so when you get this guidance is coming from divine forgiveness, divine compassion, divine love. It brings your frequency up, and it will bring theirs up also.
Yeah, well, the Course in Miracles says really all we have to do is accept the atonement for ourselves. And the atonement is really the undoing of fear or healing our own perception and ideas about the world. And as I do that, since we're connected, everyone is lifted by that gesture or that intention that I have. So it really is time for us, now. I think we have the tools. I know we have the tools. We know what to do. What do you think keeps people from staying in that heart space and in that soul space? And what makes us still want to go out there and get upset and angry?
The need for forgiveness. When you forgive someone, or when you are forgiven, it opens your heart. Your heart isn't so tight from being hurt so badly. And so as your heart opens, that just disappears. You'll notice it will drop away. You don't have the same judgments. You don't have the same ideas about things. You soften. You can feel it in someone. How soft is their aura? How present are they with me? Is there love there? It's so important.
Mm-hmm. Well, that goes in alignment, you're also a Course in Miracles student, and the premise of the Course really says our only function is forgiveness. And all forgiveness is really self-forgiveness. And I love the quote, which you're really making reference to, is those who see themselves as whole make no demands. So, the more healed I become, the more forgiving I am towards myself, the more healed the world I see is.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's all about self-healing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. You say it much shorter than I do.
No, you go right ahead. You can add something there.
No, I think that's forgiveness is just so important. I do a forgiveness practice every day and have for a long time. And I have noticed that just in doing this, I feel I get lighter, and I get lighter. And the memory, of course, stays, but there's absolutely no emotional attachment anymore. I can meet this person with my heart open. I can love them, because to me, that's all that matters. Everything else is just my stuff I had to see to let go of.
Mm-hmm. So what's your take on everything that's happening, and where would you say we're heading in this world? 2012, October 28, 2011 seems to be a pivotal date for some people.
Yeah, I've heard about the dates, and I've read and heard and seen on email all the possibilities and everybody's different point of view. And to me, it really doesn't matter, because I feel that in my heart, I am so connected with the divine. That is all I need. I'm always shown. I've learned to trust. So whatever it is, I know it is for everyone's highest and best good. I've had images of the earth being the Garden of Eden that I have always thought it was intended to be, where people honor each other and honor the earth. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, indeed, me too. And I love what you just said, because I think it's really the more connected we can get with our hearts and our souls. The spirit of who we are, the truth, our soul is not affected by anything external. It's just the story we make up about it. So if we can really just come to that space, regardless of what happens or what is happening now, the banks collapse or the world turns upside down on its axis, whatever, or nothing, we're all okay.
Yes.
And so we have to see our, what's the old adage, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yes.
And so we have to go first to that knowing that we are spiritual beings. And this is just a game we're playing right now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And what do you, I think that when we're in that space that we're happy, we lighten up, as you said, we're much lighter. We're not weighed down with the burdens of the world. So what would your tips on joy be and happiness? Or your thoughts?
Allow.
Yeah.
Surrender. It's hard. I mean, there are people losing their homes. There are people who are very ill. There are people who are suicidal. I mean, the earth is really going through her changes. And they're important because we're all cleansing ways of being that are no longer appropriate to where we're going. And we're forerunners of that. We are the example setters. We are the ones that, not through what we say, but just who we are and how we live. So, so important. You guys, we all know this.
It's just time for us to pull up the bootstraps and do it now.
Yes.
Yes. So as we wind down here, I'd like to give, does anyone out here have any questions that you'd like to ask Lynn or comments? Deb?
Is there a difference between spirit and soul?
Is there a difference between spirit and soul?
Soul is the essence of who you are. And spirit is what kind of runs that. It's kind of the force behind that. Does that do it?
I have to sit with that for a little bit and see how that feels.
You answer that one, Shelley. Let's see what you got.
Well, my belief is there is no difference. That's my answer. The spirit and the soul are one and the same with me, for me, in my belief. Yeah. So I guess it's, well, there you go. Connie.
What is a forgiveness practice?
The one I do is I place, because energy flows where your hands go, I place my left hand over my heart and my right hand in the prayer position because I'm trying to connect with the soul world. And in our minds, it's up there. It's actually everywhere present. But my personal soul, our forgiveness practice is, dear soul, mind, and body of anyone that I have ever harmed by anything that I have thought or said or done in this life or in any previous life. I sincerely apologize and ask for your forgiveness. I am grateful for divine forgiveness. I am grateful for your forgiveness. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So it's parallel with Ho'oponopono.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Same thing. You can't just speak the words. It has to come from your heart. It's the feeling behind it that does it. And I will also, sometimes I'll adjust it for any soul who cannot yet forgive me. I understand that it's because something I said or thought or did hurt you so deeply that you can't let go yet. Now I sincerely apologize again and ask for your forgiveness again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. For people who find it difficult to forgive, because we've all been hurt so deeply, try to remember that the divine is forgiving through you. You are the channel for the forgiveness.
Well, and you know, I love again, Course in Miracles, it says, God has never placed a judgment upon us, therefore there's no need to ask God for forgiveness. And since we're all extensions of that love, created in that likeness and image, you know, there is nothing to forgive in truth.
Yes.
But in this world, this dream that we're thinking is real, then we have to use the practicality of forgiveness. And there is a lot of forgiveness that needs to take place here.
Yes.
So it really is, I love your thoughts about it though, and practice. That, you know, you go back, if I've ever offended any of you or your ancestors, and or if you're still having a hard time forgiving me, I ask, you know, for sincere forgiveness.
Yeah, I'll turn it around the other way too.
Mhm.
For anyone who has harmed me by anything you have thought or said or done through any lifetime, I love you, I honor you, I appreciate you, I forgive you. You are not bound to me in any way.
Wow.
Nice. And so any other questions? Well, Lynn, how could people contact you if they chose to email?
Oh, sure. Living from Soul, easy to remember, at gmail.com.
livingfromsoul@gmail.com.
Yes.
Well, I certainly appreciate you joining us here today. It's been wonderful, and I really hope everyone who's here today and listens in the future on the internet really takes to heart your message, because it is a message that's going to be so important, not going to be, it is important at this time and place in our evolution as spiritual beings. So thank you so much, Lynn.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here with you.
Thank you.